Jay, you asked a question, is who are these people that run this website?
Sure.
And what do we know about Rebecca Mansour, who wrote this article yesterday?
Yes.
Maybe we can ask her now. Rebecca, are you there?
Oh, fellas,
yes,
I'm not going to participate in any more phone conversations with Conservatives for Palin. So I will. I'll let you have at it with her and have a nice morning. I think these people are destructive to all the good and positive things that are here in the state of Alaska.
Well, you could ask her who funds. At least you could ask her who funds her website.
No.
Sure, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Who does your funding?
We paid $10 to buy the domain name for our website. That's how we're funded. That's how much our website costs. We're entirely volunteer.
And you guys do it all yourself?
Yes, we do it all ourselves. We paid $10 to buy a Google Blogger domain name. That's about it.
Do people
it took
donate?
Us one night to set up the website. It's like it's very simple. Anybody can do it.
Do people donate to the website?
No, we do not accept any donations. The only fundraising that we ever did was we just encouraged people to donate to the Alaska Fund Trust, which is Governor Palin's legal defense fund. That's it. We never even collected donations. No money has ever gone through this website.
Well, there you go. There's your answer, guys. And you go ahead and review the website and tell me what you think. I think it's the scariest, most destructive force in the state of Alaska today.
Slander laws.
Yeah.
So,
you might want to be careful with what you say.
All right.
All right, have fun.
Have a nice morning.
All right,
thank you, guys.
We'll see you up there.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate the time. Rebecca?
Yes.
All right, so listen, we are running up against a break. If you want to, I will call you right back. And now, you obviously listened to the interview with Mr. Rammers that just took place on this show, correct?
Yes, I did. It was very entertaining.
Okay, and tell us, now, one of the things, because she was sending me emails throughout the interview that said he's lying through his teeth.
Okay, well, then you'll have to address that.
You're going to have to break us down on that one and what you were talking about, okay?
Sure, no problem.
All right, we'll take a quick break. The Bob Mark Show continues after a few messages from some incredible advertisers.
He's complaining about the governor to outsiders from the New York Times or Condé Nast portfolio. When outside writers like that write about the governor, he has no problem about them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's just when someone's defending the governor that he has a problem.
So what do you say about when he says, hey, listen, I made it full disclosure. I let everybody know that I own this stock. I followed. I mean, he didn't break any laws. You can't argue that. So what's the big deal, right?
Well, there is a Legislative Ethics Act. And I pointed that out in my article. What the Legislative Ethics Act speaks of, you cannot have legislative action, as they describe it, if you have substantial interest in something like a stock in a company. And obviously, the stock was substantial for him because he just admitted that he wouldn't sell it because he didn't want to take a loss on it.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, it was significant to him.
Right.
And legislative action includes drafting legislation or introducing legislation.
Now, what do you say, Rebecca? Rebecca Mansour from conservatives4palin.com. What do you say to he's honest, he's an ethical guy, and he's born and he's raised here, and he has a real problem with people like you coming in and muddying up the waters.
Well, apparently it's like he wants that old throwback. This is exactly what happened when the FBI and the Department of Justice had to come in and clean up things.
Mm-hmm.
Is he basically saying he wants to go back to the days when it's a free-for-all and anything goes?
Hey, he bought 5,000 shares in TransCanada.
Yeah, apparently that's an admission of the fact that it was there was the appearance of an impropriety by having all that BP stock. So he just admitted to it.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of funny.
I want to avoid the appearance of impropriety, so I'll buy all this TransCanada stock. He just spent about $125,000 yesterday buying all that TransCanada stock. Why did he do that? Because he wanted to avoid the appearance of impropriety. That is by admission. He's stating that there was an appearance of impropriety to have all that BP stock.
Well, I mean, admitting perception, I think, is what Jay. I even asked him. You can understand why eyebrows would be raised, and he says, "I don't agree with eyebrows being raised." Of course, he's not going to agree with that. But he stated his case. I mean, how was he lying?
Okay, first off, he was lying because he said that he basically declared a conflict of interest on the floor. He did not when he introduced that legislation. I listened to the audio and I read the minutes. He didn't. You actually caught him on that. You kept asking him, well, did you tell people before you introduced the legislation? No, he didn't.
Well, he said he didn't have. He said he didn't have to because there was no vote.
I'm trying to tell you that it's a legislative act that's considered legislative action. It doesn't matter. And either way, it doesn't matter. That doesn't clear you. It doesn't clear you just to
so when he said I didn't have to disclose that stock, which he admitted he owned before he introduced his anti-AGEA bill, it's because there was no vote taken. It was in committee. Is that not true?
Well, I believe I'm looking at the Legislative Ethics Act. The bill, they describe the introduction of a bill as legislative action. Okay, it's not just necessarily voting on it. The introduction of a bill is legislative action. He didn't declare a conflict of interest when he introduced that bill. That's you know what this is a lot like. This whole case is very similar to that infamous Attorney General under Frank Murkowski. Okay,
Rankus?
It's the same. Yes, it's the same thing. He had all of this stock in a company that the state was doing business with.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing. The appearance of it. His answer to this will be, but I'm not in the executive branch. No, you're in the legislative branch, and the legislative branch has an ethics act as well. He can't now just declare, I'm just a part-time lawmaker. I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it. You're a lawmaker, and there is a legislative ethics act.
All right, if you want to read more on this, go to conservativesforpalin.com. Rebecca Mansour, an outsider meddling in Alaska politics. I'm going to go out on a limb. You're not going to be
people of the New York Times.
You're not going to be getting a Christmas card from the Rammers family.
Well, because he's Jewish.
That's true. You won't be getting a Hanukkah card from the Rammers family.
Yeah.
Rebecca, we appreciate you being on the show. Thank you so much. And I'm assuming this isn't over.
No, we'll be writing some more on it. I'm sure he'll be screaming and accusing us of being creepy and shadowy and evil and, members of the dark underworld or something. Basically that's his only argument. He can't argue with our facts. He can just call us evil and the great Satan. So right. I guess that's his argument.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being on the show again this morning, and we'll be in contact. Okay.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you, Rebecca. That's Rebecca Mansour for conservativesforpalin.com.
And now a